You know, I am a believer in knowing what you're doing when you apply for a job. And I think that if I were to seriously consider running on a national ticket, I would essentially have to start now before having served a day in the Senate. Now, there's some people who might be comfortable doing that, but I'm not one of those people.
But as the world would soon learn, Barack Obama didn't care that he had little experience. He had his eyes set on the White House from the beginning. The Wall Street Journal reported that after Obama won the Illinois Senate seat, that his aides were sending workers to Iowa, the site of the first presidential caucus.
And Michelle and I have been on this journey for almost 19 months now.
Well, that means Senator Obama has really only gained a little over a year of U.S. Senate experience before forming his own campaign. So how does his record stack up next to his opponent, Senator McCain? Senator John McCain has served 22 years in the U.S. Senate, Senator Obama just 4. John McCain has sponsored 473 bills, of which 30 have been enacted. Senator Obama has sponsored 121 bills, of which only 3 were successfully enacted. Senator McCain is a decorated war veteran serving in the U.S. Navy for 23 years, and we all know he was a prisoner of war for 5.5 years after he was shot down while on a mission over Hanoi. Senator Obama has never served a day in the armed forces.
Look, I have said that Senator McCain will bring a lifetime of experience to the campaign, and Senator Obama will bring a speech that he gave in 2002.
Senator McCain has a record. Senator Obama just has a lofty dream of, quote, change. Even Barack Obama's own running mate questions his experience.
Senator Biden, you were asked, is he ready? You said, I think he can be ready, but right now I don't believe he is. The presidency is not something that lends itself to on-the-job training.
I think I stand by the statement.
In fact, Senator Joe Biden said that in the past, he thinks that Senator McCain is a better man for the job.
I would be honored to run with or against John McCain. I think the country would be better off.
So what experience does Barack Obama have that qualifies him to be the leader of the free world? 3 years as a, quote, community organizer, whatever that means. 8 years in the Illinois State Senate, where at the very best we can say he was, quote, present. 1 keynote address at the Democratic Convention. 4 years in the U.S. Senate, 2 of which he spent campaigning for his presidential bid. So does this sound like he has enough experience to be the leader of the free world?
Live and at large. With just 9 days until an electrifying election, the gloves are off. And here comes the commie card.
He has the most liberal voting record in the United States Senate.
Thank you, Illinois!
Even more liberal than Bernie Sanders, who used to be a socialist.
Joe Biden calls higher taxes patriotic. Barack Obama calls it spreading the wealth.
Thank you!
It sounded like socialism.
Senator McCain and Sarah Palin called me socialistic.
Is Maverick McCain all that stands between us and a Marxist?
Free not to vote for Barack Obama for president. His problems with math when it comes to taxes and spending your money.
We're talking about Joe the plumber.
The conversation I had with Joe the plumber.
Joe the plumber.
Joe the plumber.
Joe the plumber.
With over 26 mentions of his name, Joe the plumber became the star of the last presidential debate. Joe's actually a regular guy who asked Barack Obama the really hard question and ultimately brought the Illinois senators' pie-in-the-sky promises back down to reality.
What's your name?
My name's Joe Wurzelbacher.
Good to see you, Joe.
I'm getting ready to buy a company that makes about $250,000, $270,000, $80,000 a year.
All right.
Your new tax plan is going to tax me more, isn't it? I'm a plumber. You know, I work, 10, 12 hours a day. If I buy another truck and add something else to it and, build the company, I'm getting taxed more and more.
It's not that I want to punish your success. I just want to make sure that everybody who is behind you, that they've got a chance at success too. And I think when you spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody.
And Barack Obama has more big plans for the country if he becomes president. He also wants to spend $65 billion a year on a new health care plan, $15 billion in green energy spending, $85 billion in tax cuts and credit, $25 billion a year in foreign aid, and $18 billion a year on education. The senator's long list of expensive ideas totals nearly $1 trillion in spending. So how is he planning to pay for all of this? Obama says one way is to raise taxes on the highest earners and give tax breaks to the lowest. In other words, people who don't currently pay taxes will actually receive money, a check from the government, right after the government takes it from people who make more. Obama calls that, quote, spreading the wealth around.
His plan gives away your tax dollars to those that don't pay taxes. That's not a tax cut. That's welfare.
Joe the plumber, well, he doesn't like that idea either, but Obama doesn't see it that way. He believes everyone should have enough money to live the way they want to, even if they can't afford it. So is that how he plans to manage the money for his other bright ideas, robbing Peter to pay Paul? Some in the international community are already concerned about Obama's proposed policies and are preparing for the fallout. Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper and the President of the European Union, Nicolas Sarkozy, recently signed an agreement to start negotiations for a free trade agreement between them. According to an editorial in the Wall Street Journal, Barack Obama's promise to unilaterally rewrite the North American Free Trade Agreement if Canada and Mexico won't go along with his ideas on labor and the environment has not gone unnoticed in Ottawa. If Canadians are going to have a tougher time selling their goods and their services south of the border, well, then who can blame them for looking east, across the Atlantic to Europe? So Obama wants to energize our economy by scaring off other nations from doing business with the U.S. and giving hardworking Americans no incentive to do better for themselves. Canada's nervous, the EU is wary, and Joe the plumber, well, he's not happy.